As the world is focused on President Trump's first visit to the Middle East, back on Capitol Hill, Republicans are looking ahead this week to the critical scorecard from the Congressional Budget Office on their health care plan. Those numbers will be closely watched because they estimate how the legislation will affect the economy and all of us Americans, including those covered by Obamacare. They will also determine exactly how the bill moves ahead in the Senate. All of this already having an impact on the 2018 political landscape, with two hotly contested special elections underway in Montana and Georgia that could be an early test of voters' attitudes towards repealing and replacing Obamacare. With that, we'll bring in Kathy Aru, publisher of Catalina magazine, author of Latino Wisdom, and co-host of Red Mom, Blue Mom. In case you are wondering, she is the Blue Mom. And Lawrence Jones, a Blaze TV and radio host, as well as a conservative commentator. Great seeing you both. Thanks so much.
Thanks.
Hey, Leland.
All right. Kathy, first to you. The president overseas has succeeded in really resetting the narrative here between exactly what he didn't want, which is focused on some of the scandals plaguing his administration, now to being more presidential. Does that give Democrats a little less wiggle room when it comes to fighting against this bill that will now go to the Senate?
Well, we don't know if this bill is going to go to the Senate. Apparently, we're all waiting for the CBO report to come out, and it's going to come out next week. And this bill is just non-existent. So we're waiting for Trump Care to happen, but Trump Care may not happen. The bill might have to go back to the House, may not move on to the Senate. So he has been presidential overseas, but we don't know what's happening with Trump Care. And until the CBO comes out with its report, everything's up in the air, actually.
Lawrence, you did get the feeling that it was a little bit of ready, fire, aim for House Republicans on this. They wanted to get this through. The White House wanted to get this through. Now it's through, and now there's this big question of the CBO report. The last CBO report was, shall we say, unhelpful in the political dialogue for Republicans. How worried are you hearing that Republicans are on what the CBO says on this one and what it will mean for their chances in the Senate?
I'm very concerned when it comes to the bill itself. It's better than Obamacare, I would say, first. But when it comes to the Senate, you got a lot of conservatives that aren't going to be as moderate as the ones that were in the House that were going to want to rip it up. At the end of the day, Republicans want to get the costs down. And they also want to cut spending as well. And so if you're looking, when you're talking about the conservative members on the Senate side, they're going to want to make sure that we cut those taxes as it relates to the health care saving accounts. They're going to make sure that we get Medicaid cuts as well, because Americans can't continue to pay for that. So, yeah, we should be concerned.
It seems like, Lawrence, to that point, that the Democrats have made a political calculation that it is better to allow the Republicans to try and fail rather than try to bring some kind of consensus. Not necessarily what's best for the American people, what is best perhaps for them politically. Well, to that end, you point out you could only lose 2 senators. That's it. That's all. That's the only wiggle room Republicans have. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Well, and I'm okay with that, because at the end of the day, on the Republican side, we're not going to play politics with this in the sense of just get everybody on board just for the sake of having an accomplishment.
So you're okay with this failing? You're okay with the Senate letting this fail?
If it fails right now and we can get a better bill in the long run, I'm okay with that. That's how we got Obamacare, because they just wanted everybody to vote for it, and now it's failing, and people are losing their jobs over Obamacare and not having quality health care. That's not how conservatives work. We believe in bringing everybody to the table and getting a quality bill at the end of the day.
So fascinating. Where does that leave Democrats, Kathy? Because it seems as though the Democrats are headstrong in making sure this fails. Where do they go from here?
Actually, the Republicans are going to have to work with the Democrats. This is going to have to be a bipartisan bill for it to pass.
But they don't want to,
Kathy, exactly.
Everyone has to work together, because coverage matters, Medicaid matters.
Kathy, you can say they have to.
Right.
But Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi have clearly made the decision that it is better for them politically to allow all this to fail, to leave the Republicans hanging than to come up with anything that you might call compromise.
Well, you can't cut taxes and have 50 million people insured. The CBO report is going to show millions are not going to be insured. Millions are not going to be insured if these tax cuts take place and the wealthy benefit and the poor are at a disadvantage. So everyone needs to work together to create a plan that works.
It only took us about 4 minutes to get to the talking points, and now we're up against a hard break. So we'll leave it there. Kathy, Lawrence, at least you guys will have a lot to talk about coming up here. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.